What is going on, fam? Welcome back to Value Adds Value. I am Kyle Krieger, just jumping on here on a Saturday morning before I have to run to a couple's gender reveal party to just lay down some thoughts on the first couple weeks of school and some of the concepts from Wilkie and I's, upcoming book, which, we are on track to drop this spring, accompanied by a workbook this coming summer. So great day. Yesterday, September 17th, Molly Marie Anderson was born to my sister and brother-in-law. She is happy and healthy. 7 pounds, 3 ounces, about 20 inches long. My sister did super well. So that has been a great moment. Looking forward to meeting her, hopefully sometime soon, maybe this coming Friday. But just an incredible feeling now to have 3 nieces and 2 nephews. Got another niece or nephew coming in March. So it's been a great moment. But 2 weeks into school here in Minnesota, and I'm just like kind of blown away by how quickly it's gone. I feel like I don't know where 2 weeks is gone, and I feel like I'm going to blink and the entire school year is going to be done. But gosh, our kids have been awesome. It's been great to be back with kids. It's been great to be back with my teammates and with the people that I work with. And I feel like this is the most genuine I've been. This is the most authentic I've been. This is the most true to myself I've been. And I think it's just because of the work we've done. And as I'm working through this school year, so the basic concept of this book that we are working on is, information, lessons we've learned that if we could go back to our original, first year teacher selves, we would want to share. That's what this is. And the basic concept is of a vocabulary book of 26 main words and a bunch of other side words that we think are important in defining an inspired teaching practice. And the first word we start with is authenticity. And been working on this project like 2 years now. It's the second or third iteration of what we thought this project would be, of what we thought our first book would be, writing together. So the first word we talk about, which is a pillar word, if it's among the 2 or 3 words that I think are the most important to a successful and inspired teaching practice. And we use the word inspired teaching, inspired education, or the phrase, I should say, because we don't want to say successful or great or outstanding, because we feel like those terms are so subjective and can be defined so broadly. Inspired, the root word is inspirare, which means to breathe life into. And if there's anything we would want to do for our kids, it's breathe life into them. And as we are working through this and back in this year, I can see how these lessons I've been working on, this stuff that I've been working on, has changed me and has really put me in a position. The thing I said is I wanted to exemplify these words for my kids this year. I wanted to be, the standard of what inspired teaching looks like and really serve my kids in that particular way. So starting with authenticity, I think this year I have really shown up to start the year with my kids in a way that is true to who I am. I'm not trying to force myself to be anything. I'm not holding myself to this unbearable expectation. And I think with everything that's going on around me and how many things are out of my control, I've really gotten focused on the things that are in my control, the things that I show up doing, the things that I bring to my classroom, the energy, the the expectations. Um, and I think that's what I'm focusing on. So one of the things we talk about and a lesson we've learned over time is be wary of unsolicited advice. Um, Unsolicited advice is dangerous. I mean, for many reasons, because it you never know what that particular person's unsolicited advice is motivated by. Um, you know, and we should clarify that unsolicited advice is from someone who's not a trusted source, someone who is not within your inner circle. Um, Wilkie giving me advice from out of the blue that I didn't ask for is way different than some random person that I teach with or I work with or wherever online giving me random advice because they don't know me. Um, I think that's the first part that we would want to focus on is ensure the people who are giving you advice are in your corner and that their advice is meant to help you be more of who you are. The reason I take advice from Wilkie, whether it comes me asking or whether he just gives it, is because I know he knows who I want to be. I know he knows the things I stand for. I know he knows where I want to go and what I want to do and what's important to me. So he's a person that can see when I'm off track and when I'm off the rails. And I think that's such an important part of being a teacher and being an inspired teacher is to be able to have a circle around you that you can trust for advice, because there's by no means me saying that I've got it all figured out and I know exactly what I'm doing. I really don't. I don't have it all figured out. One of the realizations that I've come to is just that every single day is going to be different and every single class is going to be different. 2 weeks in, I've got a pretty good bead on all of my classes, but I know that they could all change on a dime. They could all shift on a dime. They could all be totally different day to day. One person comes in with a different attitude and the class is totally different, whether that's me or a student, whatever it might be. It can all shift in, a heartbeat. So with that, I need to ensure that people around me understand who I'm trying to be and understand what I'm going for and have taken the time to invest in that. Um, I have a really great group of people that I teach with at my school in the Twin Cities. I am also incredibly fortunate to be able to have a really great group of friends, family in the education space from around the country that I know I could drop a line to and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. I got this going on. And I'm really, really fortunate for that. And I know that they see me for who I want to be. They have an understanding. They've gotten to know me enough to know that this is who I am. This is who I want to be. So I think as an early career teacher, I made the mistake of having the assumption that everyone's advice is genuine and everyone's advice is going towards the aim of making me a better teacher. And there have been times where pieces of advice were just to try to keep me in the particular space that the school fit in, or to be in a particular group or to not rock the boat or whatever those things might be. And that's fine, but that's, it wasn't helping me be who I wanted to be. And as a new teacher, I was impressionable. I just had these assumptions that everyone is in it for the same reason I am, and everyone is genuine and true. And there are so many teachers that are, but it kind of reminds me of a lot of what I've been talking with, Will and Ben about, and other things, other people with other things going on around the country. Is there's just there are so many loud voices that don't necessarily represent um the majority of what people want and what people are doing. um and it just seems like voices are getting louder and louder. um and and as a teacher, it can be really difficult to manage those voices. It can be difficult to tune out the noise, and stay true to what you're wanting to do. And for me, I struggle to stay organized and stay on the path, especially when there's a lot of noise around me. So a part of not wanting unsolicited advice is trying to keep the voices that are influencing me to a minimum. Because I think the more voices you listen to, the more likely you are to get confused about what your inner voice is, what my inner voice is saying. um, and something we write about, and something that I've struggled with, is getting feedback from those people that are actually in my circle. And what I found, both as a teacher and a person, is that the feedback you get that cuts the deepest, at least for me, is always from the people who know me best. Because that stuff that cuts the deepest is the stuff that to be true. Those people who are in your circle have seen, they see you for who you are, and are saying something that to be true. And that's hard. It's painful to get that, but I would rather endure that little bit of pain and grow and get better than to um ignore that pain or shut it off and stay stagnant and stay the same. Because I'm really trying this year to what I heard Rob Bell say. He's a former pastor and an author, and kind of a spiritual leader, is when he was talking about leading sermons or leading groups or workshops or whatever it is, it's his job to have the first word, not the last. And it can be so easy as the teacher to feel like you have to have the last word in conversations or lessons, or you have to lead discussions in a particular way. And my job is to set the table for the kids and let them speak and let them be heard and let them do the things they need to do, and to explore. I mean, I teach a modern geography class with, a big chunk of modern history. So a lot of these topics that, people are saying we should steer away from fit into my curriculum. So I need to work hard to ensure that every voice gets heard and every voice is appreciated, and also to make sure that we don't fall into the fallacy of insulting a person's character because of an opinion, rather than talking about the opinion that they have, or not assuming the worst about a person just because they believe one thing. Just because someone says one thing, you can't make 10 assumptions about their character and where they come from and what they're trying to do. So I'm trying to be that, trying to create that space, because I don't know that we're going to change adults. I don't know that the popular mode of operating in the United States, where if you don't agree with someone, you insult their character and talk about why they're a terrible person, versus just saying, that's one way to do it, but I think there's a better way. I don't think you're going to change adults. I think adults are going to keep doing that because that's what they've learned. So I want to be focused on changing that for my kids. And a part of that is making sure that I don't listen to all that noise that's out there, and I don't take that unsolicited advice, or, listen to people who have never been in a classroom not tell me directly, but tell people out on the internet how a classroom should be run and all these things that are going on. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on my thoughts after 2 weeks. Excited to be back, hoping that we can continue to be successful. We've had very few kids at my middle school level that have had to be out, which is great. We're loving that. But we're working, with the kids who haven't been in a school in 18 months to make them feel comfortable, and also to help them remember what it's like to be in a classroom full of people, and maintain the expectations and the rules. So thanks for tuning in to Value Adds Value again. We really appreciate it. Will's just been super busy over the last few weeks with his dissertation and being back at school, and his classes and everything. So we're going to try to get back into the 2-man conversations and the guests, but I want to get started with the podcast and ensure that even if it's just me, that we're still giving you content, we're still sharing with you, and that we're continuing to do the work and put it out there. So to wrap up, authenticity is a huge piece of inspired teaching. And one thing you need to do to maintain your authenticity is to make sure you're not you're conscious of the unsolicited advice that comes your way. So much love to y'all. Hope everybody's doing great. Find Value Adds Value on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Find me on Twitter at It's Kyle Krieger. That's my same Instagram handle for my personal Instagram of my particular teaching journey. And find its.will.law.iii on Instagram and Twitter to follow Will. So hope everybody's having a great week. We'll talk to you soon.